As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
The Pacific Experience Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is a pleasure to be hosting episode 31 for you on the Pac X Podcast. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. It is just me this episode. This is episode 31. As you know, we're 48 hours away from the holiday Christmas. So I thought I'd get out a quick episode out there for you folks before we carry on through the new year. So happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. All the above. Please have a safe, wonderful holiday. Anyways, what's going on in the world? There's actually a lot going on, or so it seems. In fact, I'm not too sure because I don't really know. I don't trust pretty much anything anymore, and it's gotten to that level. But I still got balance in home life and work life, and it's wonderful. Things are good. I recommend meditation. I found it to be very powerful. A lot of trial and error. Don't expect results. The whole point is to not expect anything, but then you're expecting to not expect, and aha! That's your aha moment! And good luck trying to figure that out. But I do encourage all of you to start something I call the journey of enlightenment. And perhaps a lot of you have started it and didn't even realize you have. But I believe the first step to it is just ignoring what's going on. And what I mean by ignoring is take that with a grain of salt, because, the more you ignore politics or the news, the less educated you become, and you don't continue to adapt. When you give something up, of course, or perhaps you do. So it's good to stay educated, still understand it, but don't soak it in, don't take it in, don't bust a sweat over it, don't argue over it, and don't forget to look at the sunset. So what I have for you guys and gals this evening is just a little bit of stuff. But I want to talk about the same stuff I always want to talk about. Something I'm very passionate about, and that's just something very simple called free energy. My mind is absolutely blown by this. I want to I just want to learn about it because, I'm getting more and more questions as I grow older, and as this world grows and as this world becomes more and more populated. I want to find out what's going to happen in the future. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in the near couple years, or in the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Because I plan on being alive for it, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to go down, because it's very interesting right now. And it seems like there's just a big bubble that's about to pop, whether it be the fucking climate, or the people and the government, or the people versus the people, or governments versus governments. Right now, everything seems so on edge. And yet, we're just going by, doing what we're doing, especially us up here in the Pacific Northwest. And, are we supposed to be reacting? Are we supposed to be preparing? Are we supposed to be getting involved? Are we supposed to be ignoring this? Or is the world being run by a bunch of criminals while we're busy surviving in the matrix of capitalism? That's very possible. A lot of things are possible. But I'll tell you one thing, is that I don't believe anything that I am told. I have my whole life, and it's not that I saw just one YouTube video or just one podcast, listen to a podcast or something, and a switch flipped. This was a feeling of my own. I'm questioning, hey, aren't things weird right now? I mean, things just seem off. Like things aren't supposed to be going the way they are. So, anyways, let's talk about it. Someone who I really recommend, who has helped me during my journey of enlightenment, in figuring out what the fuck is going to happen here in the future, and really what happened in the past, is Maxwell Egan. He's written a couple books. He has a YouTube channel. He's a radio show host, I believe. That's what he calls it. I believe the guy's a guitar player too. I just found out, which is pretty fucking cool. I play guitar as well. His name's Max Egan. He's got it's on YouTube. It's called Crow House. I believe that's what it is. It's called Crow House. That's his YouTube channel. I highly recommend diving in and taking a minute and just listening. He's good at what he does. He's good at talking. He's great at presenting it. Anyways, so what has he taught me? What hopefully does he teach you just questioning the world in the same way that I kind of am right now and what's going to happen here in the future. I think he is out there to do something about it. He has been, in his last video, he claims he's been doing this for 10 years in the sense of trying to wake people up and just stop complying with the system, is the way that he words it. Well, that fascinates me, not in like some rebellious way or in some hippie sit on my butt way. But I've always had these questions in the past. Something that, really sparked for me was I saw about a video about these soldiers who were in Iraq during I believe, March 2003, and they were discussing, one soldier and a couple other soldiers, this has been a long time, folks, but they were discussing about a museum in Iraq that was raided, and this museum had a lot of artifacts from the topic of the Anunnaki, something we've talked about a lot in this podcast. The Anunnaki, look that up on your own separately. I'm not going to explain what they are. But there's a lot of history tied in with the Anunnaki, whether you believe they truly came from space or not, whether they were an intelligent being. Well, that's not the topic. The point here, the point was that the Anunnaki have, when you look back into this history of these Egyptian carvings and a lot of things that happened and went down towards around the Syria and Iraq area, has free energy in the sense of that's the only piece that fits into the puzzle, because we look at the pyramids and we look at some of these mass structures that have been built and we can't even replicate that with the technology we have today. So, it seems that as if energy existed in a way that was not powered by coal or oil, or fuel. It didn't seem that it needed to operate that way. There's no way. I mean, what did they do it with pulleys and a bunch of man work? I don't know. And if that's possible too, then they must have had a fuck ton of people. I don't know. It's just fascinating to question. So, that there was a raid in Iraq, and that led to a bunch of artifacts being destroyed in the museum. Well, these artifacts were hard for us to figure out what was going on with them anyways. Some of these artifacts look like cones, I believe, and these cones are supposed to be able to produce sound that moves mass objects. Bear with me here. So a lot of work was done by a gentleman named Michael Tellinger. Highly recommend this guy. In the same category as Max Egan, he's a man who believes in free energy and that it exists, and that jobs are bad and money and currency is bad. That's funny saying that, being an American citizen, that money and currency is bad because we're run by capitalism. And as I've claimed in this podcast before, I understand capitalism and I do perform in it. I take care of the capitalism below me and I can create capitalism. I can create capitalism below me and I take care of the capitalism above me. However, and to the left and to the right, let's question capitalism. Let's question money. Did free energy once exist in the past? Can it exist in the future? That is the ultimate question. So, when has there been instances of it being done in the past? Let's look at that first. Well, Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is a great example. That's why the Tesla cars are named after Tesla, a name that I believe Elon Musk chose. Perhaps I'm wrong on that one, but it's named after Tesla because Nikola Tesla believed in free energy. He was apparently committed suicide, jumped out of a building window. And then what happened was, this was in a hotel and his documents were in a safe, and these apparently, CIA or some type of government agency came and asked the hotel to open the safe, and they collected the documents. Well, what was Nikola Tesla doing? What was on these documents? He was pursuing the idea of free energy. He actually borrowed a ton of money from J.P. Morgan at the time and was building this tower. Well, J.P. Morgan didn't know that this tower was it was a kind of a secret. He lied about it. He lied about what he was using the money for. It's supposed to be a communications tower, which J.P. Morgan was for, and instead he was building this tower that's supposed to absorb energy, and it's a mystery that apparently no one knows how he did it to this day. Scientists everyone, apparently all the brilliant genius minds we have on this planet, do not know how he did this. Well, this tower absorbed energy and created free energy, and his plan was to have, I think, somewhere between 8 to 12 around the world, and the whole power could be connected instantaneously. The whole power could be connected. The whole world could be connected, and communications would be instant, kind of like what the internet is today. But at the same time, what if that was also the internet powered your house? What if it powered your car? Yeah, it's fascinating to think about. Well, that was Nikola Tesla's goal. At least that's what it seems. And here you are. He lost his life by jumping out of a window, or AKA being thrown out of a window. A lot speculate. And these secrets were buried with Tesla's passing, unfortunately. So that was an attempt at free energy. That did not happen. And so, that leads me to think, it's 2018, and the way that technology has advanced, from the 1930s through the 50s was just insane. And then from the 50s to now, just, oh my gosh. If it was on a chart, that would look like a 90-degree angle if it was on a graph. But that's what's going on, right? Well, here we are, 2018, and I feel like since 2010, jack shit hasn't happened. Excuse my language, folks. Well, this is explicit material, and you know that. But what the fuck has happened? I mean, what? Phones have gotten a couple 50 gigabytes more? I mean, come on cell phones now? I mean, is that what's happening? That's the advancement that we're having from the rapid growth? Look at cars. Wasn't the gas mileage in cars 10 years ago, wasn't like 23, 25 miles per hour, or miles to the gallon, excuse me. Wasn't that good? Wasn't 35 really good? And then now it's the same fucking thing. What, 40's good now? 40 miles to the gallon? 10 years later, that's how much we advance? We need 10 gallons less per mile in a vehicle? Oh, but the vehicle needs more. No, any argument you have for me right now, I'm very open to listening, actually. Reach out to me. Reach out to the Pack X Podcast, pacificexperience@gmail.com. Experience spelled without the E in the beginning. Reach out to us. Let me know. Argue me. Come on the show. Educate me. I want to know why we have not advanced. I mean, come on, people. Come on, folks. Really look into it. I mean, so if we were still advancing at the rate that we were supposed to be, that we have been advancing, what would the world be like? What, we couldn't work as much? The work wouldn't be available? We'd be advancing like the human race would advance to when we could take care of each other and people wouldn't have to work? No, that doesn't make sense, because the government it seems like now they don't want you to work. Or they do. Or I don't know. But what is the next step? What's the next step from this? A third of the world is starving, yet a third of the world's food gets thrown away. That's insane. What kind of species does that? We do. Why are we doing that to ourselves? You look at a company, you look at technology, you look at anything, and if it grows larger, okay, if it gets larger, and it's innovative, doesn't it become better? Like a company, if a company fucking starts with 5 people in it, and it grows to 50 people, and it becomes more innovative, and it gets more technology, and it learns from its mistakes, and the snowball effect takes place, and it gets good at what it's doing. If it continues to grow, isn't that because it knows what it's doing at this point? Well then, if that's true, which it is, why isn't humanity that way? We're advancing with our technology, and then it seems like we just hit a fucking wall and we stopped. I mean, I have so many questions. Don't you, folks? I can get by. I can go make my money. I can get by without free energy, and I can find happiness. Most of us can, because we're humans and we're incredible and we're adaptable. But at the same time, I mean, like I've questioned on this podcast before, on some episodes back, if you were told that tomorrow your job wasn't going to pay you $1, would you still show up? If the answer is no, then you're not truly doing what you would want to do. Many, many people, talented people, wise people, genius people, are too busy surviving in the matrix of capitalism to contribute to society what they truly have to contribute. Sure, that's their fault for maybe not placing themselves in the right role in society. But I think these roles in society are bullshit because we have doctors who should be being doctors, but they're so fucking busy trying to pay off their fucking debt that it's insane. It's the snowball effect. We get fucked over by companies who don't want to fuck the customer over, but they do because they're getting fucked over by someone else, and they're getting fucked over by someone else, and it all goes to the top where people say it's the top 1%. Well, that's, enough is enough. What's going to happen? Why are we still fucking navigating with gas? Or at least is the world, is this not happening in the world? Is it just happening in the United States? I don't get out much. I'm too busy surviving. I don't know what's going on. I try to. I look, something I learned from Max Egan recently. Something he pointed out is that I guess what's going on in France is the people are protesting against the government, and they're actually doing it really peacefully. And American media is showing, a bunch of violence and stuff. They stop. They say, no, we're not going to contribute to society. You have policemen wearing these yellow vests protesting peacefully. That's fascinating to me. That's wonderful. I thought that was the American way. I mean, it's not, obviously, because I don't know. I just don't know. Someone please let me know. Reach out. Tell me what's going on. Is this just happening in the United States? Is the world getting by great? Are there countries out there that are actually doing it right? I mean, I don't know what the right answer is. I can't tell you what's right or wrong if a country is doing it right. But what I know is I have a lot of questions, and I don't really like what's going on. I think most of us don't. Even though we can still get by, we can still find out how to be happy. But I wouldn't show up to work tomorrow if they told me they weren't paying me $1. I love what I do. I'm good at it. But if they told me they weren't paying me $1, I wouldn't show up, which means I'm doing it for the money. Of course. So I spend majority of my time, more time than I do sleeping, more time than I do with my family, making money. If you're in a small village, you have to survive, and the strong are going to go out and hunt. They have to feed the village. But when systems and processes are built, and as this village grows with people, and they get better at what they're doing, shouldn't they just take care of each other without having a currency? I mean, what if the one hunter that was good and the whole village relied on to bring food, he came back and he said, you know what? For now on, I want this special type of rock. There's only so many that can be found, and you have to give me this rock for your food. And then people put value to these rocks, just like fucking money. It's a piece of paper. The cost of energy has suppressed us to value money as if it is energy. That's why energy is not free. We use it in our house, we use it for everything. And since it costs money, we treat money as if it is energy. We value it as if it is energy. I mean, why can't an industrial project run without fucking coal or run without oil? Why are houses not powered with solar systems or wind panels or stationary systems designed to produce energy? Whatever. Why is it not that way? And most of all, what the fuck is going on in space? I mean, really, it's right there in front of us. It's right in front of our eyes. We see it every night, yet there's so much bullshit going on about it. How do you make drama out of vastness? Just empty or not empty? I mean, I'm so confused what is above my head now. Trust me, I'm not a flat earther. But why is that even an issue between flat earth and a globe? Why is that even Why can't NASA simply just disprove? I mean, oh my gosh! If we're sending shit up there into space, I mean, if all this is happening, why is there so much confusion? Why does every picture of space have CGI in it? I mean, if there's nothing to hide, then why is there so much fishiness? I mean, I believe in the traditional way. I believe the Earth is fucking round. The sun is right there. I believe everything I've been told about space from fucking kindergarten to now in Western American education. And perhaps I could be completely wrong, but it's very hard to cope with the idea that anything I have been told is not the way that it is. If something is very different. If the moon is really fucking 500 miles away, or there is a flat Earth, or there's fucking planet X, Nibiru around the corner full of aliens. I mean, if that's really going on, I don't want to handle that. I don't want to handle thinking about that. That's insane. That is insane. And since that's so insane, no one wants to ponder that. You're either for it or you're fucking against it. You don't hang out in the middle with this kind of shit. You're like, oh wow, and you jump into it. Or, you're like, fuck no. Well, I hung out in the middle a little bit for a very small minute. Now I'm just wondering why these questions are there. If we put a man on the moon, fucking almost 50-something fucking years ago, why are these questions still there? Why are there conspiracies about all this bullshit in space? There shouldn't be any of that if we have the ability to do what we've done. Anyways, I'll shut up about space. My gosh. What's going on in the United States, in America? Why are news organizations just now throwing their integrity away like they don't give a shit? It's almost like being caught red-handed stealing something and being like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? You just keep stealing. That's what the media's done. They've been caught lying, and they're like, yeah, well, we don't fucking care anyways. Because they are surviving for capitalism? Perhaps. Because they're surviving because of money. That perhaps could be it. Or they're being told what to do. I don't know. But why have they just... It's like they don't even try to hide their bullshit anymore. At least fucking try. Fuck. I just don't like that there's so many secrets. I don't like seeing people that I love at each other's throats over shit that they've been told virtually. I don't like seeing families fall apart over a piece of paper that us as humans give value to. I don't like seeing that, and it hurts me. I think it hurts any generic fucking normal fucking human being with a fucking soul. But I don't want to give you a Debbie Downer here around the holidays, even though I just did these last 23 minutes. These are questions to think about, people. I have some stuff coming on the next couple episodes. I have some guests coming on. If you know anyone who would like to come on the podcast, or if you yourself would like to come on the podcast, please let me know. Let's talk about this shit. Let's get weird. Doesn't always have to be so serious as it was this episode. But you've heard us. Go back and listen to the episodes if you already haven't. If you have and you love it and you're still here, thank you so much. Share us with your friends. We're now on all platforms pretty much, but Spotify and Pandora there. But we're working on it and we're on the way. Your downloads, your thumbs up, your likes, your support, and you sharing with us will help us get there. It'll also help us get better equipment to get rid of some of these damn white noises. And it's just going to help us get more impressive people on the show that we can interview and talk to and listen to and have a good damn time while educating ourselves. You guys make this fucking amazing. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Lloyd. Thank you for tuning in. I want to wish you all a very, very wonderful, safe, happy holiday. Take care of yourselves out there. Put your phones down. Get away from the computer, all that good stuff, and look at what's in front of you. For sure. Stop arguing. Be quick to listen, slow to speak. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be with you next week. Or probably not. Probably after the new year. So we'll see you in 2019. Have a great night.